欢迎收看神秘文怪事。大家好，我是团长，没有订阅的朋友请按下订阅按钮，谢谢大家。加入我们优秀神秘文怪事团，拜托大家用力按下订阅，达到1000订阅。大家可以留言告诉我。最近有部很火红的电影《哥吉拉与金刚》，在剧中远古巨兽住在一个地心世界，但这一切不只是科幻电影情节，因为有越来越多的证据显示地心世界真实存在。如果把地球比喻成一颗鸡蛋的话，人类对地形的探索还不及蛋壳的1/10。我们来听听美国海军少将，他就曾经从北极进入到了地球的内部，发现一个庞大的神秘基地，在这里头有高科技的地心人，还有其他有特异功能的人士，也曾经进入到地心世界。他们说地心世界有高楼，而整个地心人口有100亿之多。这一切也不只是传说，因为有美国前 CIA 他就公开爆料，其实美国早就知道地心世界的存在，还跟地心人达成了秘密协议，就连 NASA 也曾经收到来自地心的讯号，他从地底窜出，将对抗让人类陷入存亡危机的神秘威胁。电影《哥吉拉与金刚》内容讲述一群巨兽定居于地心世界，而地底下也藏着许多隐藏版生物，还未被发现。地球下的世界究竟长什么样子？正如同电影所诉诸人丰富物种，甚至拥有超高文明吗？这一切恐怕不只发生在科幻电影中，现实生活里曾经有人到过地形，甚至见过地形人。
The idea of the hollow earth is that we live on a shell and that inside the earth is a hollow cavity with its own atmosphere, its own animals, and possibly its own inhabitants.
地表下真的有众人吗？美国海军少将理查伯德在一次名为跳高行动的南极探测任务中，就曾意外进入了地形世界，并见到他们。
Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance to the center of the Earth through the South Pole, and he took planes into the South, under the South Pole. And when he did that, he discovered that as he flew over the pole, suddenly he's looking at things that shouldn't be there. I mean, it was temperate. His squadron flew under the Earth, into the Earth.
It turns into this lush and green area, and he can't even believe his eyes. But that's just the beginning of his extraordinary story. He tells how all of a sudden he starts to see a shimmering rainbow city that's made of...
Two eyes, nose, mouth, 2 legs with feet and toes, 2 arms with hands and fingers. Even the size of the beings is close to the size of human.
that they're highly disappointed in what humans are doing with nuclear weapons and how they've recently destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they really are concerned about what is going on the surface of the planet. They tell Admiral Byrd that they hope that humanity will ultimately stop this. Byrd comes back after this experience. He is taken to a government compound where he is told that he is never to speak of this publicly. And
在一次的公开爆料中提及，美国其实早就发现地球内部存在了超智慧文明，甚至和地心人。
Was published February 14, 1995, an article which proves again the theory of the hollow Earth. NASA receives radio signals coming from inside the Earth. Experts believe that these signals are emitted by a form of intelligent life and well developed. A senior NASA does not speak its name says in the article that are underground creatures who seek to enter into communication with us.
Science is trying to solve the centuries-old mystery by conducting seismic studies of the interior of the planet.
One of the pieces of data that was really earth-shaking was when Washington University discovered large amounts of water underneath the crust of the ocean floor. They could actually read the waves crashing on a shore on the inside of the crust. That was really quite remarkable. When I see reports like that, it leads me to believe at least that there's a possibility that we have a hollow earth.
在此之前，大家都认为地心充满了滚烫的岩浆，地球下除了隐藏着一片汪洋，还有多少人类未知的生物呢？陆续有人站出来说，他们到过位于地表下220多公里的地心世界，更把地球比喻成一颗鸡蛋。人类向地心探索的进程还不及蛋壳的1/10。这些经历乍听之下非常天马行空，但早在1692年，就曾有天文学家提出惊人的发现。
Scientist Edmund Halley is most famous for Halley's Comet. He was also very interested in the Earth, and one of the challenges was trying to figure out what was the real structure of the inside of the Earth. He had a fascinating theory of not just a hollow Earth, but an Earth with multiple layers.
哈利发现，当指南针在接近极地时，无法指出准确的方向。经过多番研究，他认为是因为地球中心是空的，而这个空并非什么都没有。他提出，地球内部含有3个分离的同心球，从外到内由大至小的套在地球中。
Spheres rotated at a different speed. Halley believed that the leakage of the inner atmosphere was the cause of the northern lights.
梦幻的极光会是地形世界存在的证据吗？不止哈雷，著名数学家尼昂·哈德欧拉也相信，我们脚下正存在着一个高度文明的世界。
Was a gifted mathematician. He developed this idea that the planet Earth is not only hollow, but the poles are actually thinned. And there are actually entrances into the inner core at the north and south poles of the Earth. He imagined that there were advanced civilizations living inside the planet.
时至今日，人类依旧不断地探索地底世界。若是成功了，将会带给地球高度文明，还是打开潘多拉的盒子？在这个多人宇宙，还有太多人类看不见的神秘维度空间。科学家就说，外星人存在于我们看不见的更高维度。
Welcome to Earth.
科幻电影里面常常出现的平行宇宙，其实还有天外访客，许多人都嗤之以鼻。为什么呢？因为有句话说眼见为凭，都没人看过，怎么可能是真的呢？但你有没有想过另外一种可能性？这些超自然事物不是不存在，而是我们看不到。
Most human beings only use 10% of their brain's capacity. Imagine if we could access 100%. Interesting things begin to happen.
至于为什么会看不到，那就要来探讨一个很有趣的话题——维度。
What is a dimension anyway? For our purposes, a dimension is a direction, which we can picture as a line. For our direction to be a dimension, it has to be at right angles to all other dimensions. So a one-dimensional space is just a line.
而维度简单点讲就是指可能的运动方向。
Two-dimensional space is defined by two perpendicular lines, which describe a flat plane, like a piece of paper. And a three-dimensional space adds a third perpendicular line, which gives us height and the world we're familiar with.
日常生活中随处可见的蚂蚁，科学家推测它们生活在2维的世界里，只能看见长宽，并且前后移动，当然也看不到生活在3维里的人类。
In the two-dimensional world cannot see the three-dimensional world, and those in the one-dimensional have no idea how the two-dimensional world looks.
换句话说，高维度的生物看得见比它低维度的生物，而相反的低维度生物看不见高维度生物。就像人类能够看见蚂蚁，但是蚂蚁却看不到人，那是不是代表可能有着其他生物就存在更高维度的空间，并且注视着人类，而我们却不自知呢？
Similarly, humans living in the three-dimensional world will never be able to see the fourth-dimensional world. But those who live in the two-dimensional world can see the shadow of the three-dimensional object, and that shadow matches with the two-dimensional world. Likewise, we can see the shadow of the four-dimensional object.
宇宙对人类来说是个3维空间，但那也仅仅只是我们的认知。谁能够保证没有更高的维度呢？
Four-dimensional being instead of a three-dimensional one, moving along your timeline would be as easy as any other number line, just like walking down the road. So that being said, Let's blow this out of the airlock a little bit. So try and imagine a world without linear time, where time is just another thing that you can move through like swimming or walking, moving backward, forward, easy. It's crazy, right?
有一种说法是，四维空间下已经不能说是世界，而是时空。只要在我们生活的三维世界加入一条时间轴，可以回到过去，又或是前进未来，这个就是四维。过去更有优福专家指出，外星人就住在第四维度，其实和人类就处在同一个空间，就像是星际战警里面，我们看不见外星人，但是外星人看得见。也欢迎在下方留言分享你对这些的看法。感谢收看，下次再见。大家帮我按赞、订阅、开小铃铛，谢谢。希望你会喜欢这篇文章。